Alright everybody, it's been all fun and games up until now, making videos about Yonko and warlords and who would be the best influencer in the One Piece world. But now it's time to get down to brass tacks, alright? Let's talk about Hattori. Alright, I've put this off long enough, alright? Many of you might remember way back in the far-off year of 2017, which is already 7 years ago now, which is... Whoa, mama. Okay, anyway, back in 2017, I did my Halloween special, Horroween, and Hattori actually made it as one of the most important villains in all of One Piece, as voted by you. So, clearly, he's up there, alright? Now, Hattori is at Egghead right now. He's hanging out with Lucci. I think we're approaching this from the wrong angle with this Zoro versus Lucci thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, obviously, Zoro defeated King. He's at a level now. He has Conqueror's Haki. He's got Enma, for God's sake. Zoro should be able to take care of an awakened Leopard Zone, no problems whatsoever. However, Hattori is there. Alright? So I'm serious. If Jinbei rolls up to this fight like, Zoro, we gotta get going. Oh my god, there's blood everywhere. And then it's Lucci's on the ground, mangled, sliced into like little mincemeat chunks. It's like whatever. But then Zoro is just there. He's going full power, Santoryu, no, Ashura mode with the bandana. And there's just Conqueror's Haki like exuding off of him. Like Zoro is giving it 110%. And then on the other side of the battlefield, Jinbei's like, which enemy could Zoro possibly be facing? And then it's Hattori, this pigeon just, you know, fluttering in the sky and just exuding even more Conqueror's Haki. All right, raise your hand if you think Hattori is just a pigeon. I don't know yet. I haven't made up my mind, but you can raise your hand if you think he's just a pigeon. I'm not exactly entirely sold on that yet, okay? All right, let's tackle a theory that has been around in the zeitgeist for a little while. Hattori is actually secretly Laffitte. I believe the Titanic captain of the second ship of Blackbeard's fleet. No, wait, fifth ship. I think Shiryu is second. Yeah, Burgess is first. Shiryu is second. I think Laffitte was like fifth. Yeah, Augur is third. Yeah, so he's the fifth, okay? He's still up there. I don't think the Titanic captains are like ranks. It's just like, you know, you're just captains of a ship, right? Okay. Like, yeah, I don't think Burgess is the strongest member of Blackbeard's crew. Well, maybe physically, but I'm getting off topic. Point is, Laffitte has some kind of unnamed devil fruit. We don't know what it is yet. We don't know if it's a regular zone or a mythical zone or an ancient zone. Maybe Laffitte can turn into some ancient, you know, giant pigeon that existed during the Cretaceous period or something. We don't know, but we know he could turn his arms into wings. We saw him fly around like that, and so since it looks like pigeon or dove wings, and Hattori is a pigeon, a lot of people have come to the conclusion, wait a minute, Hattori is secretly Laffitte, and he's been Laffitte the entire time. He was there at Water 7. He was there at Enies Lobby. He's there now at Egghead, silently watching and waiting. So, unfortunately, that doesn't work in terms of the timelines. Like, I would be for that. Like, that would actually be a really cool twist. It turns out Hattori, the pigeon that's been hanging out with Lucci for so long, is in fact a member of the Blackbeard Pirates. I'd be okay with that. Except it doesn't really work because probably the most egregious conflict here is during, so it was post Enies Lobby, when the Straw Hats were resting at Water 7. That was when the events of Bonaro Island happened, when Blackbeard was there with Laffitte and Burgess and Augur, and they were fighting against Ace. Okay, so that was happening while the Straw Hats were at Water 7 because Blackbeard was like, Zehahaha, Enies Lobby happened, alright, we're gonna go to Water 7 and bring in Luffy. Because remember, Blackbeard's original idea, his plan was, you know, capture Luffy and turn him over to the world government to get the warlord position, okay? But then Ace ran into him, and so he ended up capturing Ace instead, okay? So that was the whole idea there. Now, Laffitte was present. We see him at Bonaro Island. This would have been at the exact same time that Lucci and the rest of Cypher Pool 9 got away from Enies Lobby. Blue and O used his door powers to allow them escape so they didn't get Buster called, you know, they didn't die. And then they escaped off to, I think, St. Poplar, which was one of the islands connected by the sea train, and then they did a bunch of street shows and performances in order to raise money for Lucci's medical bills, because it turns out the medical system in the One Piece world, apparently the world government doesn't do a great job of that, so they had to raise money for Lucci, doing various carnival performances, like Jabra turned into a wolf and like jumped through a ring of fire, and Kaku turned into a giant giraffe slide. It was a fun time, all right? And so eventually they raise enough money, and you see Hattori hanging out next to Lucci the entire time that's going on. Hattori did not leave his master's side, his best friend's side, the entire time that was going down, okay? So unfortunately, it doesn't make sense. Also, if you want to even dial it back further, every time we see Lucci, even when Lucci was a child training, you know, to become an assassin, we see a pigeon hanging out with him then. All right, now, here's the other question involved here. Is it the same pigeon? Is it Hattori? Because Oda drew Lucci as a child, you see a pigeon hanging out there. When he's training as a member of Cypher Pool, you see a pigeon there. Like, there's always a pigeon, like, hanging out with Lucci. Is it Hattori all the way back from when Lucci was a child? Because I think Lucci's in his 30s right now. Or is it, like, every 10, 15 years? Like, 15 years on average is how long a pigeon will live in, like, captivity. But remember, this is the One Piece world, okay? So, you know, it's like, hey, this doesn't make any sense for Hattori to be around when Lucci was a child because pigeons only live 15 years. This is Oda's story. He can make pigeons have the lifespan of parrots. Parrots live a crazy long time, you know what I mean? You know, we have, you know, Dr. Kureha that lived to be 141. Well, she's still alive. She's not dead yet. She's still around. She's a nice, young 141-year-old. Absolutely, right? Although Dr. Kureha, granted, is a little bit of a special exception. We have not seen any other human even get close to the age that Dr. Kureha is. The only, you know, characters that surpass her in age are, like, immortal beings like Eem or the giants that have already been mentioned to have a extended lifespan compared to humans, okay? But it goes Dr. Kureha at like 141, and then like Haradis, I think, is the next oldest, and he's like 99 or something, so nobody's even close to her, okay? So that might be a special thing with her. Maybe it's a special case with Hattori, okay? I don't think Hattori is Laffitte. I don't think that makes any sense. However, that doesn't exactly necessarily disprove that Hattori doesn't have something special going on about him. Hattori could still have a mythical zone or a zone fruit or something, okay? Hattori, maybe Hattori really is a pigeon. Like, Hattori originally was a pigeon, but it's like a Chopper situation where Chopper was originally a reindeer and then consumed the human fruit and then could turn into a human, all right? Now, here's the fascinating thing about this, because if you are a human that eats a devil fruit, like, so, for example, Kaku ate the giraffe zone, right? When they go into their full giraffe zone, he's the size of a giraffe, all right? Now, when Pell consumed the falcon zone and turns into a falcon, he's like a huge falcon. Like, he doesn't turn into the size of, like, a regular falcon. He's like a giant falcon to the point where, like, people can ride on his back. You know, that's the whole point of Pell. So it seems like, once again, this is Oda's, like, creative license. Like, yeah, I mean, you turn into a giant falcon because that's really cool, right? Instead of turning into a smaller, like, regular-sized falcon, okay? But when Chopper goes back into his walk point, that is, like, his normal form. That is his normal state as a reindeer, okay? So, if Hattori ate a human fruit or some variation thereof, and he transformed into a human, he would probably get bigger. He would turn into a regular-sized human, and then he would have a hybrid form and all that jazz. But his original form, his animal form, would be a regular-sized pigeon. So it is possible. It is feasible, okay? It's also possible that very much like how Oda has like Zunisha, right? So there's regular elephants that exist in the One Piece world. The proof of the Zozo no Mi is evidence of that, okay? So there are regular elephants, but then there are a special variety of elephants that have the very long limbs, and that is what Zunisha is, and that has survived for like well over a millennium, okay? So it's possible, and we saw the penguins and then the super penguins that, Aokiji has, his friend Camel, his traveling companion, right? So it's possible that Hattori could just be a special kind of pigeon. In fact, I could see that totally as an SBS question. I could see somebody asking Oda, like, what's up with Hattori? You know, is this the same pigeon from when Lucci was a child till now? Pigeons don't live that long. Is there something special about him? And I could totally see Oda... I could see him doing one of two things. I could see him being like, yeah, he's just a regular pigeon, guys. There's nothing else. Or I could see Oda being like kind of mysterious with it. Like, ooh, well, is he actually? The dark secrets behind Hattori's pigeon-like form will certainly be revealed when the Straw Hats reach Laugh Tale. Okay, like, I could see Oda doing that. I could see him being like, they think something's up with Hattori, right? There's something going on here. Okay. Honestly, like, as I have her plushie right here, I have Belle, who is Kai's companion in One Piece D&D Marines. That's kind of the whole idea with Belle a little bit there. Like, Belle is clearly, like, just like Hattori. Hattori is intelligent. Hattori is very intelligent. Intelligent beyond just like, oh, that's a smart bird over there. Like, no, like, intelligent enough to wear fine fashion. Intelligent enough to drink a cup the same way a human would. You know, so you could look at it just like, you know, learning stuff from Lucci and just mimicking his behavior or whatnot. But Hattori seems to care very much for Lucci, and when Lucci gets like attacked by Luffy and gets knocked out at Enies Lobby or gets bit by a succubus, Hattori seems to be rather shocked by that, like, Kuropu, no! You know, it's like the kind of thing. So Hattori clearly is exhibiting like human levels intelligent here. Same thing with Belle, and like, what's the story with Belle? I don't know. You know, like, that's the kind of idea. Like, I could see that, Oda writing the story and being like, people are wondering what's up with Hattori. Maybe Oda hasn't even decided is the kicker. What if it's a thing like Oda's sitting around and he's just like, you know, maybe I'll just make Hattori a regular pigeon and not a big deal. Or we could do a thing where Zoro slices down Lucci and then Hattori reveals something. It could also be a thing where Hattori doesn't need to be crazy powerful. It's not like Hattori needs to be truly like the eldritch lord of everything. Like Hattori was really the reincarnation of Joy Boy the entire time. No, what if Hattori is, like, let's say Hattori did eat a human fruit. Like, let's just assume that. Let's say Hattori could take human form, or Hattori was originally a human and takes pigeon form. Either way, this kind of works. But let's say whichever true form Hattori takes, they're not a fighter, okay? They're not a warrior. They're not very physically strong, okay? But that doesn't mean they wouldn't be integral to the plot. You know what I mean? What if it's a situation where, like, Hattori has been alive for, like, hundreds of years or something? You know what I mean? What if Hattori is like, oh, yeah, Hattori existed during the time of the Void Century and knows some stuff, right? But then something happened and they went into hiding and turned into a pigeon. I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here. But, like, that would be a twist. That would be a thing where it's like, no, it turns out the entire time Hattori was, in fact, a lot older than everybody expected. Maybe not Void Century old. Maybe not, like, Eam old. But, like, old. Maybe, like, a couple centuries or so. And then went into hiding, had some, like, way to extend their own life or something like that. Turned into a pigeon. I don't know. But, like, it turns out later, I'm not going to spoil anything in Black Clover, but there's a character in Black Clover that this is very similar to now that I'm actually thinking about it. But something along those lines, okay? And that's not even something that was, like, invented in Black Clover. This is something that has been around for a while. This is a common trope. Maybe not super common, but, like, oh, hey, yeah, You know that that innocent-looking animal over there that was in the background the entire time? Yeah, turns out they're actually a human, or they're actually a demon, or they're actually an angel. Turns out they had information that nobody knew about the whole time, and then boom, big reveal. That's something that's been around. It's in the capacity of fiction for that to occur, and it's like, okay, for that reason, I'm a little hesitant to just say, yeah, Hattori's just a normal pigeon. Nothing else, okay? And you know what? Let's say Zoro does straight up cut down Lucci here, right? And so you have a situation where the Straw Hats are leaving Egghead. You know, the Giants are showing up, and the whole place is getting Buster called, and it's getting bombarded, okay? Now, the first time that happened back at Eni's lobby, the first Buster call where Lucci was knocked out cold, he had his friends to help him. He had the rest of Cypher Pool 9 and Blue and O to help him get out of there okay and then make it to St. Poplar. Well, what if it's a completely different situation now where the island is getting bombarded, and if Zoro just cuts down Lucci, he's there bleeding out, he's unconscious, and they're like, all right, he tried to fight us. I mean, he could have joined us, he could have worked for us, or worked with us, rather, and he chose to still fight with the government, so Zoro cuts him down. So they leave. Zoro and the rest of the Straw Hats, they leave. They get off the island. Kaku might look over at Lucci and see the whole island getting Buster called and going up in flames. Maybe Kaku might have have a conscience there and be like, guys, we can't let Lucci die. I mean, like, he's not much of a family, but I know he's betrayed you and me actually a couple times now. Maybe not really betrayed Kaku, but, like, Kaku, I think, will realize, like, this is ridiculous. The government keeps trying to kill us, and we keep going back to work for them, you know? So maybe Kaku might just have a moment of, like, guys, we can't let Lucci die. Or he might have a moment where the whole island's going up in smoke, and he has to choose. Kaku has to choose between himself and Lucci, and he's just like, sorry, man. We've been through a lot together, but you wanted to work for the government, you'll die by the government. And then Kaku gets the fuck out of there because he doesn't want to die. So he leaves with the Straw Hats. Maybe even he's bubbled. Maybe he's straight up bubbled and there's nothing he could do about it. Like, Kaku can't save Lucci because he's in the bubble. So, point is, there's no one coming to save Lucci. Lucci's there in the labo phase, being bombarded with Buster Call shells. Straw Hats are gone. Satellites are gone. Island's going up in flames. Kaku can't help. Maybe in that situation, Hattori looks down at Lucci, just like, Kurapoo, someone help! And then it's like, no one's coming. And then all of a sudden, Hattori just settles and is just like, Kurapoo. And then transforms into their real form or something like that, right? Because they'd never had to do this before, because it's never been a situation where it's like, okay, gotta pick between revealing my true form or my best friend dying, you know? Also parallels maybe a little to Yoruichi a bit from Bleach. See, that's another one, right? That's another one right there, okay? So this is definitely something that has existed. And one of the great things about One Piece, and you might say this is maybe not a positive of the story, but to me it's a positive. Because the story has gone on for so long, you know, we're going over 25 years now. No, shit. This will be the 27th year of One Piece. This July will be 27 years because 97. Crazy, right? Well, anyway, because of that, Oda has pretty much a rare chance, a rare opportunity to pretty much implement every single trope in fiction in this manga. Every trope, every plot device that you could possibly imagine shows up in One Piece. It's like the most cracked D&D campaign ever that's been going on for over a quarter of a century. You know, you want time travel in One Piece? Boom, you have it. You want Terminators in One Piece? Boom, you have it. You want lightning gods? Boom, you have it. You want aliens? Boom, you have it. You want islands in the sky, islands under the ocean? Boom, boom, mermaids. You want giants? You want eldritch gods? Sure, go ahead. Immortal beings that are shadow rulers of a world government. Go ahead, you can have it. It's all there, okay? So why not have Hattori transform into, like, preferably a sexy lady with big knockers that is one of the keepers of knowledge in One Piece? Why not, right? Why not? Well, anyway, that was today's video. Okay, I gotta be honest with you here. I gotta straight up here, okay? This video wasn't planned. last night, I was thinking about a video to make today, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video about Jaguar D. Saul, because we're going to Elbath, and Saul's going to be there, and I woke up today, and I came downstairs into my office, and I started gathering all the stuff and all the material. It's been about like 30 minutes gathering everything, making a thumbnail, getting everything ready to go. And then I went on my channel and I found out that I already made a Jaguar D. Saul video back in 2022, right when he showed up again, like when he was revealed to still be alive. That's when I made the video about it. And I'm like, oh, I already did this. And I'm looking through the video and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that now. That was some jokes I was gonna. Okay. Shit. All right, then. And then there's a One Piece random character generator that exists. You can go on and find it. Just type in, like, One Piece character generator. So I went on there, and I pushed random, and Hattori was the first character to come up. And I'm like, fuck it. Anyway, that was that. I'm totally not just going to end the video randomly out of nowhere.